Hey guys, Mindy Browse here with the Integrated Co-op. I wanted to make this video. This video is for parents of the co-op. Sometimes even though you think you understand what we're doing and you're excited and you've caught the vision, you end up going, wait, what do I do now? So this video is about what you do at home for Grammar K2 or Grammar 3.6, okay? So first of all, we are studying a certain time period. And you should have the textbook from Biblioplan for Remember the Days, which is the younger textbook. Biblioplan is designed to read one chapter in a week. So just divide the pages up in the chapter however you would like. But just know that they do intend for it to be done in 3 days. You can do it in the 4 if you like, or you can go ahead and do co-op on one day, read. That'd be 4 days, and then on the 5th day of your school week, do whatever you want, okay? So they do intend that. Obviously, we will, each cycle will be a different book, but that will be part of your day at home. You will sit together and read aloud from this book, from the history book, or you could buy it on audio and do it that way if you like. I strongly suggest incorporating narration into that. So let me go ahead and pause here and explain a few Charlotte Mason components in case you are unfamiliar with them. For those of you who've been doing Charlotte Mason for a while, just hear me out. Okay, so narration is when a child tells you back what they have learned. So we will be using narration at co-op. After certain components, they will have a journal, a composition journal that they will use, and they will narrate what they've learned. All right, that means they can draw it, they can write it out in words. Narration is also telling you. So what I encourage you to do is, depending on the ages of your kids, read a portion of the reading for the day and then ask them, tell me 2 things you remember, or tell me what you remember. Now at my house, I would tell the kids, you can't tell me what the sibling just said, because, I need to hear from each of you. So incorporating narration into your history reading is a great way to help them start listening with intent. So if you go ahead and tell them, I'm going to be reading to you, and then you're going to be telling me what you remember, they will make sure they're listening, right? You can have your kids color while you read, or they can sit upside down on their heads, which is what my son always did. But so you'll read a chapter a week, have them narrate to you as you go along, and then I would encourage maybe at the end of the reading for you to ask them what they remember again, okay? For kids that are older, you can have them write a couple of sentences about what they remember, and that's a great way to help them connect it also. For history, know that the memory work corresponds to this chapter of the week for the history sentence. So K2 and 3.6, they each have sentences about the same things, but 3.6 has a little bit more information. So I would encourage you at the end of the week to read the history sentence again. Make sure they connect that, right? So that's what you'll do for history. And then another component in your lesson plans is the read aloud. So families do this a bunch of different ways. So let's say in your day, you start your day with math, because starting with math in the morning when they're most cheerful and less likely to cry sometimes is great. Maybe not, whatever you want to do, okay? But for co-op, you're going to do history, you're going to do read aloud, and in your lesson plans, it tells you the chapters to read for the week. You can divide that up however you want. You could divide it up for just weekdays, or you can divide it up for the whole week and read some on the weekends together. That's totally up to you. And you can do that on audiobook, or you can do it on paper and you read to the kids. And then again, I would incorporate narration. Tell me what happened in our book today. Who wants to start with telling us what happened last time we read? Things like that. Again, that develops a reading and listening for intention, okay? Then the other components. Okay, those are the only 2 components that we have asked you to do for the co-op. Science is up to you. So in Discovery, And during the week, we'll be using the Berean textbook. I didn't bring it, but we'll be using a Berean textbook, okay? And we'll be doing hands-on activities from there that focus on a person and something that they discovered, which is why we're calling it discovery, okay? We're following the time period. Again, because we're integrating subjects, we're including the science of the time period, okay? If you go ahead and buy the Berean textbook, again, that is not required. You can read about it more. You can even do some more hands-on activities that are in the book. The book has over 90 activities, I believe, and we will only be doing about 30 of them. We have 30 weeks. So there is a lot in there that you can do with science also. The book does not require like a microscope or anything like that, okay? Simple things you can get your hands on as a parent. But again, that is optional. The one thing we do want to encourage you to do that is in the lesson plans for Discovery is nature study. Nature study is another Charlotte Mason component that means a lot, okay? It doesn't mean you have to be super scientific. What Charlotte Mason really wanted us to do and encourages us to do is to have our kids out in nature. That can mean your backyard, can mean a playground, it can mean a hike, it can mean going to the bosque, anything, okay? But a little bit of time outside every day. It doesn't have to be hours, okay? But having them just sit and observe and use their senses to take in nature. A nature journal is a great way for a student to draw what they saw. They can paint, they can use markers. It's just a way you can even say, hey, today we're gonna study the plants in our yard. Let's pick one today and look at it and then draw it together and then just sit here and observe, okay? You can take walks together and again, just observe nature. Listen to the birds, look for the insects, all of those kinds of things, okay? Fine arts in our lesson plans, we will let you know, and it will say, like, for example, week 11, look up Native American styles of pottery and discuss. Then we will make some simple Native American style pottery. We are going to be focusing on Pueblo pottery for this cycle. But all you have to do for this is Google and look at types of Native American pottery. And you, again, it's not required. This is optional for you to do at home. But it's a way to tie in the fine arts before they get there if you want. And actually, the third thing that we do ask you to do at home is public speaking practice. So for K2, that means show and tell. So just talk to them about what would you like to bring to co-op to talk about. And just, obviously, there are going to be weeks you're going to do that on the morning of co-op, okay? But it's best if they do it during the week and they pick something and they practice talking about it. You can ask questions. Where did you get it? Which is what the kids will always ask. What do you do with it? Or whatever, okay? And again, that's up to you. For the 3-6, we do ask for them to go ahead and pick a topic and practice, doing that. So the 3 required components are the history, reading that chapter during the week, read aloud, reading those chapters, assigned chapters during the week, and public speaking. The ways you can encourage and facilitate even better learning for each of these is using the practice of narration to ask them to tell you what they remember, okay? Let's see, okay, now the memory work. We will be introducing the memory work in class. We will not be quizzing them on it. We will not be asking them to recite previous week's memory work. This is the introduction of it. The teacher will go over the memory work itself 7 times. They will say it, they will sing it, they will dance it with the class, all of them. But it's up to you if you want to go home and work on this memory work. It's a part of a classical education. If you are unfamiliar with why memory work is such a great component, I would encourage you to think about the Awanas Club. Is previously, I've heard they've changed it in the recent years, but it was a very classical model. The children memorize verses, memorize. They didn't go into them deeply. They didn't sit and discuss and teach them until they were older, right? But in those younger years, the input, memorize. Then as they get older, you'll start discussing. If we have kids memorize when they're younger, when it's easiest developmentally, they will use that information in their later years. So at home, what I did for this is I and what I would do is I would take a tally pencil, and each day of the week I would tally mark how many times we said it aloud together, and for each subject. So you'd have basic, I only did it 4 or 5 days a week. I mean 3 or 4 days a week, because the other day we were at co-op. And I would just have penciled tally marks on how many times we said that together. You will be able to purchase history sentences, history memory work from one of the parents of our co-op who has written some songs, which is a great way to do the memory work at home. All right, so again, that's totally up to you. We will not be quizzing the students on that, but it is an important part of our plan because we have tied the memory work to what we're actually studying, okay? So our goal is they've seen it, they've read about it, now they're memorizing about it. This is not memory work that's just randomly unconnected to things, okay? So Lord willing, the co-op keeps going and going and going. When they get to this 4 years later and they're 4 years older, they will have memorized part of it, and then they can keep going with that. Okay, I want to just also talk about a couple of other things that is a part of a Charlotte Mason curriculum that we encourage that you do at home, but is not a part of the co-op necessarily. It will be in Level Up, but not in grammar. So copy work dictation, okay? Copy work is a way where students copy some beautiful sentences or a sentence that they start internalizing that stylistic way of writing, and they internalize the punctuation, the vocabulary, and dictation is when you say, for example, Mindy loves unsweetened iced tea. Then the student writes, Mindy loves unsweetened iced tea. And then you check and say, okay, how did you do? Did you capitalize Mindy? Did you put a period at the end of the sentence? Or the sentence could be, Mindy loves Chick-fil-A unsweetened iced tea. Did you capitalize the M for Mindy because it's a proper name? Did you capitalize Chick-fil-A because it's a proper name? Did you put a period at the end of the sentence? All right. Dictation, copywork, and narration and nature study are all a part of a Charlotte Mason education. Brave Writer includes copywork, dictation, and narration in their writing program. We are not doing that for the young grammar programs, K2 and 3-6. But if you purchased it, or if you're interested in purchasing their program, you're going to see that there. And it's a terrific way to develop language, okay? Your other subjects will be up to you. Math, handwriting, phonics, all of those things. That will be up to you in grammar, okay? But at home, you will read 3 to 4 days a week, sections from the chapter assigned. You will introduce and say the memory work if you choose so. You will read the novel from Read Aloud, the assigned chapters by the end of the week. And, sorry, real history. Oh, if you want a nature study, you will spend some time in nature and maybe nature journal. You can look at the Berean book and do some of the other experiments and read about the biography there. And you can look at what fine arts requires you to just Google. Really, it's going to be Googling, and that's kind of it. Maybe reading a poem out loud. All right, so time-wise, each day, this will probably be about 20 minutes, okay? And then I would say about 20 to 30, depending on where you're at, for Read Aloud. And public speaking practice, 10, not very many minutes, okay? Memory work usually takes about half an hour if you say them each 7 times. You don't have to do that in one sitting. You can do like the history memory work after you read the history. You can do science later, you know, it's up to you. Lots of times we did it during car rides because we're in the car, so we could just say it, and my son would tally, and we would listen to the songs. Fine arts, not going to take but 10 minutes maybe total for the whole week, okay? So I hope that helps you kind of wrap your head around what you'll be doing at home that we will pair with at co-op. We're so excited to start. We're so excited you're joining us on this fun journey. Thanks.